Are you one of those people who suffer from electromagnetic hypersensitivity, fatigue, tiredness, stress, brain fog, aches, and pains? What if I told you that you can soak your way into serenity? Soak in Serenity, our new herbal bath formula, is known to soothe anxiety, relieve stress and fatigue in just one bath. Visit our store at blacksunrise.com/herbs-page. Remember to spell sunrise SONRISE.
Okay, so welcome to another segment of Global Black News. And in today's segment, we take an article from the New York Daily News. Organizers of high-end Manhattan escort service busted for money laundering. Really? The article writer's name is Leonard Green, and we use the U.S. Copyright Act that allows us to review and critique articles and reports and all copywritten material. Federal authorities actually charged someone? Shocking. Federal authorities charged organizers of a high-end prostitution ring. Someone wasn't getting their tax dollars. With money laundering Tuesday. One thing, didn't they just bust a ship? Some Deutsche Bank with like 10,000 pounds of cocaine or something like that? Anyway. Accusing them of being behind an operation that channeled more than 10 million in sex profits through personal and business accounts at home and abroad. Okay, here's the funny thing about this. This was a shakedown because the feds, the church, the real church, which is the IRS, wasn't getting their money. You didn't give the IRS that 10%. That's what happens. Anyway, VIP Escorts urged its hookers to deposit the thousands they collected for their services into bank accounts across the country, many of them in the name of fake entities, authorities said. I find that really interesting. Money from the enterprise flowed through accounts in New York, watch this, Texas, California, New Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. I'll tell you something. I was reading a report the other day, and in the report they said, it's a really fascinating report, minus the political mumbo jumbo. Any person who is telling you the truth and takes sides politically, don't trust them. But sometimes they give you good information. Their investigation, the guy is former CIA, which there's no such thing as former CIA. That's like former Mossad. It doesn't exist. The guy said that from his investigation as a former CIA, they found that in every single state across the United States, there are Mossad-like operations with Jeffrey Epstein at the head. Stick a pin in that. You're wondering where all these 65,000 missing black women are? And thousands and hundreds of thousands of missing black people in the Caribbean?
Black Sunrise, waking the masses off their asses. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Black Sunrise. BlackSunrise.com for the latest global black news. Black Sunrise News on YouTube for the latest black news commentary. Black Sunrise on YouTube for the latest live streaming, and anchor.fm/Black Sunrise for our latest podcast where we discuss everything black.
Money from the enterprise flowed through accounts in New York, Texas, California, New Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C., authorities said. One woman by the name of Jessica Collins, you can go look her up, Jessica Collins, type into YouTube Jessica Collins, Jeffrey Epstein. And in one of her videos, this is exactly what she said. She was actually kidnapped by some woman and sold off to Jeffrey Epstein to be baby raped. The scheme was designed to hide the nature, location, source, ownership, and control of the proceeds, feds say. The arrangement resulted in the flow of more than 10 million through banks in the US, and another 1 million was sent to accounts in Israel. Didn't I tell you that I was reading a report? Black people, you need to get back into reading. And that's why I do this the way I do. I don't just come on and tell you, okay, this hot topic, and then tell you my analysis of it. I actually read the articles to you. You know why? Because I'm programming you to get back into reading. Now, there's nothing wrong, actually, there's nothing wrong by audio reading, where you listen to news reports and you either watch it or you listen to it somewhere across the internet. There's nothing wrong with that. But 9 times out of 10, it's how people frame arguments where you get lost in the truth. Whenever you watch the news, including on the media, they're going to read you a report. They won't read you the report. What they will do is they will spin their interpretation of their corporation of how they want you to understand what they read. And what I do, I say, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the article itself. Okay? And then I'll give you my interpretation. But by me reading the article itself, you're also engaging in listening with me as I read it, and you're beginning to formulate your own thoughts. So, although I'm a big proponent of listening to people report stories on the internet, as I don't watch television, or some of you who watch television, get back into reading when it comes to the news. Get back into reading the news.
Black Sunrise, waking the masses off their asses.
Okay, not just listening to it on YouTube. Okay, YouTube, which has a huge bias. You understand? If it's a news article of a cop shooting black people, YouTube will call you racist when you talk about a cop shooting black people that's in the newspaper. Okay? So understand that. And this is why I do this from a different angle. What I do is I actually read you the source material. And then I comment on it, or I give you commentary on it from an educated perspective. Okay? Now, what did I tell you guys? I preempted the argument when I read the first paragraph. And there's a great book that I have when you want to understand whenever someone in the media is presenting anything to you, there is a phenomenal book that you have to get, okay, about how they persuade people using linguistical witchcraft. That's what I call it. Linguistical witchcraft. How they frame articles, how they frame questions and sentences, how they structure paragraphs, how they structure words to put an implicit bias into siding with their narrative. There's a phenomenal book. I was taking a communications class, and as I was reading the book, I was like, oh my God, this is linguistical witchcraft. All using words. And the power of how you choose your words. Let me give you an example. So I did a live stream 2 days ago. And in the live stream, we talked about Dean Koontz' Eyes of Darkness. It's an actual book written by Dean Koontz. In the book, the US military creates a virus known as Wuhan 400. It's an actual book. It was written in 1981. So I went on to RT News, and then I heard a reporter on RT News reference the Eyes of Darkness. And in it talks about the virus, which is a recombination virus of RNA. Okay? And they're saying, well, these conspiracy theorists are saying that Dean Koontz wrote about the coronavirus in 1981. And I said, and it's a conspiracy theory. I said, no, you're not going to pull a fast one of linguistic witchcraft with me. And they said, oh, the work is a work of fiction. I said, that's not the point. I said, the point is, in 1981, Dean Koontz wrote a book called Eyes of Darkness. Is that correct? Yes. Whether it is a work of fiction or non-fiction, the fact is the book was written. This is the reality. Second bullet point. In it, the US military created a virus and they unleashed the virus in a lab in China in a city named Wuhan. Is that correct? Yes. Where's the conspiracy in that? And this was done in 1981. Whether it is a novel coronavirus or RNA, whether it is that or it's a novel coronavirus, the fact of the matter is in 1981, Dean Koontz, Reality, wrote a book, Reality, called Eyes of Darkness, Reality, and in it, Reality, there was a virus, Reality, known as Wuhan 400. Reality, 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 reality. Doesn't matter if it's a work of fiction, and it so parodies that the virus, the coronavirus, broke out in Wuhan, China, and the virus in the book breaks out in Wuhan, China. How many Wuhan cities across the planet? Linguistic witchcraft. Learn, when you read, you must learn how to comprehend, critically analyze what you're reading. Most people read with bias. All right, here we go. The arrangement resulted in the flow of more than $10 million through banks in the US, and another $1 million was sent to accounts in Israel. There was a former CIA agent who said, Jeffrey Epstein, I was reading this in an article, and what I don't agree with him on is his political persuasions, because both parties don't do shit for the common person.
Black Sunrise, waking the masses off their asses.
But what he said struck me. He said, from his research, across the 50 states, there is a Jeffrey Epstein operation in every single state. And this article just supported that. Let's continue. The business bank accounts were held in names of numerous business entities that purported to conduct other business, but in fact, bank records reveal they largely, if not entirely, served to launder the proceeds of VIP escorts. Jessica Collins, who stopped posting videos on YouTube, type into YouTube Jessica Collins, Jeffrey Epstein, and watch her 4 videos. The last video she did, she was threatened. She was scared for her life because they told her they'd kill her. But not only that, she went to this Christian news organization on YouTube, and they told her that they were gonna, come and record. And she drove all the way down there and gave them everything. And you know what they told her when they were done? They said, listen, we could go give this to the very people. Let's not get into the church and sex trafficking, okay? That's for another topic. We'll talk about that elsewhere, about how these churches are involved with your missing children and your missing women and your missing organ harvested men. But that's for another topic. Prosecutors said the suspects, Trey Reynolds, 45 of Colorado, and Yitzhak Cohen, 53 of Israel, used the proceeds for personal gain and to further the business, including $300,000 to promote VIP escorts on a known advertising platform for the prostitution industry. Oh, the goy. The operations website included links to pictures of escorts with set schedules for each, including the city in which they were available and the hourly rate. Let's not even forget that some of these escorts are either kidnapped from their countries and brought illegally to the United States. Okay, that's one. Or missing children and missing young women and missing men. According to the criminal complaint, Fees range from $700 to $1,000 per hour. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said Cohen and Reynolds arranged for escorts to meet clients in Manhattan and in numerous other locations because Jeffrey Epstein is not the only person. Reynolds and Cohen were each charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering and 2 counts of money laundering. I am so surprised the feds actually arrested them. Each count against Reynolds and Cohen carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Neither defendant was charged with prostitution. Neither defendant. You guys missed the whole learn how to read, people. At the end of the article, it tells you neither defendant were charged with prostitution. Had this been a black man on a street corner prostituting women and money laundering, do you think that the feds would have charged him for prostitution? Did you miss that? You see why I read these articles and not just give you my opinion? At the end of the article, they said neither were charged with prostitution. I'm going to say this again. The laws are designed to protect certain people and to criminalize certain others. And that, my friend, is the truth.